Welcome to my channel, Basic Understanding of Anger, a workbook inspired by true events that I actually published back in 2006 and had it republished with Audible. I actually left you a link below if you have an interest in getting it. It's easier that way. So thank you for dropping by. I hope that I can teach you a tiny bit of something that has to do with your emotional growth, understanding your feelings and behavior. So last time we talked about the two parts, and I said this was you and this is another person that you might have an argument with or misunderstanding. And I said this is like your brain, this is the other person's brain, and this is your hurt part that does all the childlike behavior, and this is your solid self, which is your logical thinking part of the brain. So this makes it easier to understand how you're feeling or what you're saying and why you're saying it, because you're operating from the hurt part. So this week I want to talk about never-ending emotional changes that we go through on a daily basis. And so this arrow that you see there goes around and around with the constant changes of emotions and feelings throughout the day, which sometimes can be hard to understand. Sometimes we don't even know why we feel a certain way, but that has to do with lack of emotional awareness. So I'm going to read it to you. So in order for us to feel complete, we have to accept the changes in our feelings on a day-to-day basis. Just because we are not happy-go-lucky all the time doesn't mean we're not normal. When you don't know what you're feeling and why you're feeling it, sometimes you can feel a little bit off balance, a little bit nutsos, but you're not. You're not crazy, you're not broken, there's nothing wrong with you. I think that's so important for people to understand, that just because we don't understand our emotions doesn't mean that we're broken or that we're crazy somehow. We're not. We just have to practice and learn about emotions in order to control them and behave properly, Being emotionally healthy is knowing that our feelings change without warning. Sometimes you feel happy. Well, usually when you wake up in the morning, you're very happy. So you start here, right? Nothing is bothering you. Everything is going great. You get dressed, you go to work, you feel successful. And then maybe sometimes for no apparent reason, or sometimes you have we'll call the coworker special, and they say something to you that makes you feel uncomfortable, So then you go from feeling successful and then you feel somewhat depressed because this person tapped into some part of your emotions that you were not aware of. And then you stay there for a little while, it depends on what they tapped into, and then it changes again. You jump from feeling depressed, you go to feeling, you feel smart. Somebody asked you a question and you answered it and you were right on point, And then it changes again because someone else asked you a question or you did something and it didn't come out right, so then you feel stupid. And then you get over that and then you feel nice and calm again. And then, so this is like going on while you're at work, So by this time here, you've already went through several different emotional changes when you finally get to feeling rage. By this time you're having megalomaniac thoughts and you're thinking about choking somebody out, or you're thinking about quitting your job, and all kinds of madness goes through your head, right? And so you have to understand that that's normal. As long as you don't actually choke somebody, you're okay. Yeah. And then again, your feelings change and you feel wanted. You could fill in these words with any words that apply to you. You can fill it in. As long as you understand what's happening, which is what I'm trying to get across today, you can put in whatever words you like there. And then sometimes you could be like in the middle of a crowd with a bunch of people and feel super lonely, because you're surrounded by people that you can't actually identify with, and you're like, I don't belong here, that type of feeling, that kind of loneliness that creeps up on you. And then it changes again. So all day you have this never-ending changes. And this is like worse for people that don't even have any emotional awareness. Because if you have some kind of emotional awareness, you can control it. You can be like, oh, okay, and like kind of brush it off, or acknowledge it, accept it, understand where it's coming from, and then let it go. And this is what I was told that normal, healthy people do. Our job is being able to handle these changes in a way that brings us respect and honor. Respect and honor is so important. You don't want to go around acting like you lost your mind and getting in trouble with the law and probably getting fired from a job. These kind of things. You want to be able to control yourself. And the best way to control yourself is by having emotional awareness. And so this is super, super important. I can't stress enough how important it is for you to understand that our emotions change without warning. Our feelings change without warning. Our mood changes without warning. Mostly, like without warning, or sometimes, like I said before, you have a coworker that wants to share their doggone opinion with you that you didn't even ask them for. Or someone wants to come to you at work and correct your work when you know what you're doing. And so that sets you off on a spin. I mean, I don't know about you, but I know about me. If somebody tells me, someone shares their opinion with me that I didn't ask them for, and depending on what that opinion is, it bugs me. It's like, who asked you? I didn't ask you. Or if they want to come and correct my work, I know they hired me because I know what I'm doing. Mind your business. Go back over there and mind your business. But you can't say these things out loud, because then you look like the nut. You look like angry all the time, or you look like you have no control over your emotions. This is why it goes back to self. And when you understand who you are, you understand what's happening to you and why you're doing what you're doing, you're able to kind of detach yourself from the moment, catch a deep breath, or take a deep breath, and then respond respectfully. Not for the other person, because seriously, the other person, who cares? It's for yourself. You have to learn how to respond and carry yourself with respect for yourself, not for anyone else. I mean, because it's exhausting to be angry all the time, or, like not understanding what's going on. Because when you don't know that it's normal for your feelings to change throughout the day, several times a day, it's confusing. You could start questioning your sanity. But there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the changes. The only time that something could be wrong is if, of course, you end up in a fight. In a fist fight, you end up slapping the hell out of somebody, or you get fired from your job because you told somebody something or you did something you shouldn't have done. For these reasons, it's important to take care of yourself and don't let anybody dictate your behavior. Don't let anyone dictate your feelings. When you do that, you're giving away way too much power. You're giving the other person way too much power. And we don't want to do that. That's a big fat no-no, because then you'll just be like a puppet on a string. Everybody will be pulling on your strings, and everybody will be having you do things that they feel you should be doing. And this is when you have to be strong, and you have to have some kind of backbone. Don't be a puppet for people. Don't. No matter what it costs you. I mean, and I don't mean like no matter what it costs you. I mean, even if you feel like you're standing alone, stand alone in integrity. Stand alone. Stand by yourself. If you know that what you're saying and what you're doing is right, don't worry about what anybody else says. Even if you're in a room with like 10 people and you're the only one that sees things your way, but you know that you're right, you're 100% right, don't let them sway you. Don't let them pull on your strings just so they can use you as entertainment. That's a big fat no. And when you're emotionally weak, you look for acceptance. You look to fit in. You want to fit in with whoever, even if the group of people that you want to fit in with are questionable people, and that's to put it nicely. You don't want to do that. You want to stand alone. You want to be solid in who you are and what you believe. Set yourself standards, understand what they are, be clear about them, and stick to them no matter where you go and no matter who you're with. Be true to yourself. And all of that self-awareness and behavior and belief system all comes from emotional awareness. Emotional awareness is so very important. But don't ever let anybody tell you that you're crazy or you're broken or make fun of you or anything like that just because you're not doing what they want you to do, because they want you to entertain them. Like sometimes when you're weak, when you don't have emotional awareness, you are considered weak because anybody can do whatever they want to you as far as dictating your behavior. Like if they know that you don't know something right, they can say something to you to get you into a fight with someone else. Like they can just like say one little thing to you and then there you go. You're off the deep end because that person has control over your behavior and your feelings and your emotions. And I'm telling you, no, it's not okay. And so again, it's our job to understand ourselves, for ourselves. So understand that this is normal. When your feelings change, sometimes it changes moment to moment. Sometimes it changes different hours in the day. Sometimes when you're home, they change. It depends. But as long as you are aware of the changes that are happening and you handle them with tender loving care, because you have to care for yourself, you'll be fine. You'll be okay. It's a lot of hard work. Emotional growth is a lot of hard work. But it's our job. No one else's, because if you grew up the way I grew up, where emotions was not a topic that we spoke about, you got a lot of work ahead of you. So I hope that I was able to teach you just a tiny bit of something. If I did and you like, subscribe and share. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for dropping by.